Hello all. In this lecture, we'll see about list in Python. So list. So list is a sequence of values that can be stored. So it is similar to an array in other programming languages, but it is more versatile than arrays. So if you take arrays, if you have studied some other programming languages, in those programming languages we have arrays, and in those arrays we can store a collection of elements of same data type. But in the case of list, we can store any type of elements in a particular list itself. So values in a list are known as items or elements. It is similar to strings, except lists are mutable. We have already seen strings, and strings we have mentioned there that it is immutable. That is, the internal data content cannot be changed in the case of string. But in the case of list, we can change the content. That is why it is known as mutable. So lists are mutable. So we'll see some of the properties of lists. So lists are ordered. So there's a particular order in the list. If you are storing 5 elements, everything will be in a particular order. So it is accessed by index. So first element will be 0, second element will be 1. So if there are n elements, then the last element will be n minus 1. So it will be accessed by index. In strings also, we used to access by index, like a string of a string str of 5, like that we used to access. Similarly, list can also be accessed using index. So list can contain any sort of object. So that is another thing to note. We can store any type of objects in list. It can be floating point, it can be integer, it can be string. Anything can be stored in a single list itself. Then lists are changeable or it is mutable. So we can change it. We can change the contents of the list. That is why it is known as mutable. Okay, we will see some basic operations in list. So list is represented using this square brackets. So you can store anything like this, separate by commas, 23 comma 30 comma 45 comma 56. So this is a list. So it will be separated by commas, and square brackets will be used to represent this list. So this is a list. So the elements, we have 4 elements. Okay, so we can store any kind of objects. We can store any kind of objects in a list. So if, for example, if I want to store string like this, apple, orange, mango, etc., you can simply store like this. So this is also a list. So first element is 0th element. It is apple. First element is orange, and the second element, index is 2. Okay, so we can store any type of elements. Also, we can store any different kind of objects. So if you want to store a mixture of different elements, you can do so. So we have an integer here, we have a string, and we have also a floating point in this. So this can also be stored in a list. And this represents an empty list, so that nothing is there in that list. Okay. Then you can have nested list. You can have nested list also. Nested list means you can store a list within a list. So this is a list within a list. So we have a 0th element, and 0th element itself is a list. And that's why we have mentioned any kind of objects can be stored. So we can store a list inside a list. So 12 and 24 is a list. Then 23 is an ordinary integer. And 13 and 56 is another list. So if we take 0th element, it will be 12 comma 24. It's a list. This is an integer. So this is another kind of list. Then if you want, you can store anything like I'm importing math. Okay, then I'm giving some value to x equal to 2. Now, if you want to store something like something like if you want to store x comma mat dot square root of x. So this is also possible. So if you want to store like something like this is also a list. But when we store it, the data will be stored there. So this will be the list. 2x instead of x, we have already assigned 2, so 2 will be stored. And instead of the second element mat dot square root of x, it will be evaluated, and this data will be stored in the memory. So this is also possible. So if you want to store something like x plus 1, this is also possible. So x is 2. So when we represent this, the element stored will be 3. Okay. Now, if you want to store something, if you want to type some, if you want to store automatically some elements in a list, you can use this. You can use this range function. Sorry. You can use this range function. So we have already seen this range function. So if you want to store something in a list, you can use this list constructor. So there's a list constructor, say like function, it's a constructor. We'll study about constructors later. So list of range of 5. So if you represent something like this, list of range of 5, so it means 5 elements will be stored starting from 0. So the list will be like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this way, you can store a list. Or if you want to store something like sample equal to, you want to store some other name in the example, if you want to store some other range of values, then you can simply give sample equal to list of range of 1 comma 5. Like this, you can store. So it will produce a list like this. So if you check the sample, it will be one range. We have given specified the range as 1 to 5. So the first element will be 1 and up to 5, excluding that 5. We have already seen when we studied this for loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4 will be stored in that list. And if you want to store something, if you want to have a third parameter, it's also possible. When we have seen this for loop, we have seen that range of 1 comma 10, and we want to store only the odd numbers. So what you have to do, we have to skip one number each. So like this, you can store this. So if you check the sample, it will be 13579. So we have specified the range 1 to 10, and we have to take only the second number each. So 13579 will be stored. So in this way, we can find the list. Okay. Then if you want to have something like list of, if you want to have a string list. Okay, I'll show another example. So if you want to have a string list like this, list of A, B, C, D, E. So a list is actually a constructor. So this list is actually a constructor. It's something similar to function. So what it does is it will produce a list. So the list will be like this. So if you are giving a string like this, remember that this is parenthesis. This is not square bracket. Here this is parenthesis. So if you are mentioning list of A, B, C, D string, we are giving some string, then it will be stored in a list A, comma B, C. Okay. So then if you want to find the length of this list, then it is also possible. Length of, we will find the length of sample. So length of sample. So it is 5. So there are 5 elements in length of sample. Similar to strings, we can use the len function itself to find the length of that string. Then if you want to access some element, you want to access that slice that list. So if you have this slicing thing, I'll produce some other thing. Example equal to list of range of 1 comma 10. Okay, so this is the list. So this is the example list. I have given some other example. Now, if we want to find out only a few elements, if we want to slice this list, so you have already studied how to slice this list using that colon operator. So similarly, in list also, in string, we have studied that you can use the slicing operator. So similarly, here also we can use that slicing operator. So in order to find use the slicing operator, so you have to type example square brackets, and if you want to take only second to fifth element, it is possible. So the elements will be 3 comma 4 5. Okay, so we have sliced the list. So this is the example. So when we can perform this slicing operator 2 to call to 5. So this is zeroth element, this is first element, this is second element. So 3 and 3, third element is 3, and excluding this fifth element. So 6 won't be printed, only 3, 4, 5 will be printed. Okay, so in this way you can slice that element. Also, if you want to access a particular element, you can use indexing. So if you want to access this particular element, example of 4. Okay, example of 4. So example of 4 is 5. So this is zeroth element, this is first element, this is second, 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So example of 5 will be returned. Okay. And similarly, if we want to use the like in strings, we can use minus also, minus 1. So minus 1 means the last element, ninth element. 9 will be returned. Similarly, you can use any other expressions like if you want 4 minus 5, or if you want to use 5 minus 2. So what will be returned? Example of 5 minus 2 is 3. So example of third element will be returned. This is 0, 1, 2, and this is 3. So 4 will be returned. So all these operations like we have seen in the string way, it is also possible in this case also. Now we have seen string concatenation. We have in that strings we have studied about string concatenation. So in list also concatenation is also possible. So if you have example, so we have a list example. So the elements are like this. And if you have another example, so I will take another list. We have already a list sample. Now if you want to join these two things, example plus sample. So it is like similar to the concatenation. We can join these two lists. So the result will be like this. So if you want to store it in a separate list, example 1 equal to example plus sample. So this is actually joining of two lists. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Now we can join like this. Now if you print example 1, you will get 1, 2, 3 up to 9, then 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So we have joined two lists. We have seen in strings also, that is concatenation. Okay, so this is possible. Now, if you want to join like this also, it's possible. So if you want to join example equal to sample plus, if you want to join some elements, 23 comma 34. So we can join like this also. So if you print the example, you will get 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 23 and 34 will be printed. Okay. So these are some of the examples. Now we will see something like then it is possible, like in strings, it is possible to compare these strings, these lists. So if we want to compare, so we will see example is example, and example one is like this. So if you want to compare whether we have checked whether the elements are same, so you can use this comparison double equal to operator, and you can simply check example. So it is false. It will return false. So similar to strings, we can compare two lists. So all the contents of these two lists will be compared. Okay. So we will take another saying example 2 equal to, we will use the same list here, and then we will compare to show that it returns false, true. Now if we compare example 2 double equal to example, so it will return true because both the lists have same elements. So this type of comparison is possible in the case of list. Okay. Now, but there is one difference. So print, if we print a string, so if we give something in a hello like this, if we give, so what happens is, so if you are simply printing, the output will be hello. The double quotes will be removed. But in the case of list, if you are printing a list similar to a string, 12, comma 23, comma 45. So if you try to print this thing, those square brackets won't be removed. So those square brackets won't be removed. Those square brackets will be there when we print this. But in the case of string, those double quotes will be removed. Okay. So these are some of the examples. Then we can see for loop. So if we want, we will see a for loop in order to print like this. So if you want to print the elements as in the string case, we can use this for loop. Okay. So if you want to remove the square brackets, so what you have to do is for item in, we will take the same list. Okay. For item in this list, so if you want to print it, print of print item, and what you have to do is we have to separate it using double quotes. Okay, now we can print this element. Sorry. Okay, so if we want to print this thing, so we can print like this. Okay, so we can remove that square brackets and print like this. Simply we can give a print that item separated by spaces. Okay, so that is possible. If you want to remove such kind of things, it is possible. Then let me go back to the slide. So list properties. So these are the operator functions we have seen. So L of an integer expression, subscript used to access an element. So we have already seen example of 5, example of 2. We can access a particular element using. So we can change that also. So if we want to change some values, it is also possible. So if you want to change some values, it is also possible. I will show some example. So we have sample. I'll take that sample list. I want to change some value. Sample of third element. So third element, I have to change it to 25. I want to change the third element to 25. Now, if we put the list, you can see that the third element has changed to 25. So using this indexing, we can access a particular element. We can change that element also. So it is possible in the case of list. Okay. So then we have seen slicing operation also. Slicing. So we can slice any list from starting and ending elements. We can create sublist. Slices of that list, it is possible. Then concatenation, we have already seen L plus L. List concatenation returns a new list consisting of the elements of two operands. Then print, we have seen how to print a list. Then length of L will return the length of that list. Then we can compare all these things. And also iteration is possible inside the list. For loop we have already seen. And next we have an in operator also. In operator. So if we want to find whether an element is present in a string, in a list, so if you want to check whether 5 is present in sample, what you have to do is in operator is there. 5 in sample. So it will return 2. So if you want to check another element, 7 in sample, so it will return false since 7 is not there. Okay. So that in operator is also there. Sorry, I will show it. Okay, this is a in operator. So if we want to 5 in sample, so it will check whether 5 is present in this list. Then it will return 2. Then 7 in sample. Sample is 7 is not present, so it will return false. Okay, so these are some of the list operations. Then we have list methods for inserting and removing elements. We will see all these methods. So there are list methods for inserting and removing elements from a list. Let me take this. So next, I will show some other example with for loop also. I'll show one example with uh, while loop. Okay, I forgot to show one more example. Okay. So I have taken a list numbers and it is equal to 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I want to access the elements index equal to 0. I want to use a while loop to access the elements index less than length of numbers. Okay, while index less than those numbers. Now, if I want to change the content of that list, it is also possible. So, numbers of index, I want to change the values of that list. I want to change it to numbers of index. I want to multiply it into 3 times. So I want to make it the list elements are 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to do multiply it into 3. All the elements should be multiplied by 3. So it is possible. And I am going to index equal to index plus 1. Okay. Now, if I see the numbers, if I check the numbers, it will be 9, 12, and 15 and 18. So it has multiplied. So each element will be taken. Numbers of 0 will be taken first. It is 3. 3 into 3, it is 9. And it will be stored in that list. So this is possible in the case of list. So we can traverse using while loop. So we can traverse using while loop. Then we can see a string example. We have already seen this example in the case of split. In split, we have already seen this thing. I'll show it once more. We have a sentence. Python is very easy to learn. Now we can split using methods. So we will see some of the methods that can be used using list. So we have already seen this, how to separate this thing into different words. So what we have done is words equal to sentence dot split. So this is a split method. So this is different from function because we have to give a object here. Data object should be there. So sentence is a data object. We can separate into different words. Then we have already shown that words, if we print this words, it will be a list. So this is actually, this method actually returns a list. So words is a list now. So list, it contains this many number of words. So Python one string is there. Now you can check the length of using the alien function. You can check the length. So it will be length of words. It will be 6. So that sentence we have split using the split method. Split method used and it will be stored in words. So words is now a list. So these are the elements in the list. We can check the length of that list also. Okay. Then if you want to change the index, we want to change all those things into uppercase. It's also possible. We can traverse that list. So we have start with an index of 0. Then while index less than length of words. Length of words. So if you want to traverse a list, so length of words. Now what we have to do? Now we want to make it into uppercase. So if we want to make it into uppercase, so it is possible. So words of index. So we need to change value. Words of index equal to words of index dot. There is an upper method. We have already seen this upper method. So upper method means we have to take each element from this string and it will convert it into uppercase. Okay. Then index equal to index plus 1. Okay. That's all. Now if we check the words list, everything will be converted into uppercase. Similarly, you can use the same thing for lowercase also. So what it does is index is 0 first. So 0 less than length of words, 0 less than 6, it is true. So what it happens? Words of 0. So words of 0, it is Python. So it will be taken. What should be done? Words of 0. Instead of, we have to change the words of 0 to words of 0 dot upper. So this is a method. So we have a data object dot that upper method. So all that Python will be converted to uppercase Python and it will be stored in that particular words of 0, first element. So it is stored like this. Similarly, it will repeat until it becomes 6. Okay. So this is possible in the case of list. Now we have some other things also. I'll take another example using uh, numbers. So I am trying to find out. I'll create a new number. Numbers equal to. I'm creating a new list of numbers 23, 24, 12, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So this is a list. Now you can check length of numbers. So it will contain 6 elements. Now, if you want to slice this, it is possible you can slice this using some other thing. So if you want to change the list, if you want to change some of the elements of this list, so I want to change the first 3 elements, numbers. So you want to change the first 3 elements. So what you have to do is numbers, first 3 elements. I want to change the first 3 elements 0, 2, 3. 0 to 3 equal to. So I want to change it to 2, or I will change to a bigger number 100, 120, 130. So if I want to change it to a bigger number, now if you take numbers, it will be all first 3 elements will be changed to the new 3 numbers. So it is possible in the case of list. Then there is another method in list. Using list, we can have another method known as append. So if you want to append a particular element at the end of the list, it is possible. So if you want, now the numbers is this thing. Now if you want to append a particular single element, so you can use the append method. Numbers dot append of, you want to append 45. So if you check the element, if you check the list, it will be 45 will be appended at the end of the list. For appending, we can use the append method. So this is also a method. So this is different from function because we have to give a data object. So here numbers is the data object and it's a list dot append of 45. So that 45 will be appended at the end of the list. Okay. Then if you want, you can extend. If you want to add more elements, you can use the extend operator, similar to this thing, numbers dot extend. Okay, so it is possible to extend this thing. So if you want to append a particular list itself, you can use the extend method and you can add any elements 101 comma 134 comma 145. So I am extending this list. So I am extending this list, and if you check the numbers list, now it is extend. So if you want to add a particular list to the already existing list, you can use the extend method. Extend method. So I have added three elements and it will be added to the end of the list. Now if you check, length of numbers will be 10. So there are 10 elements in this list. Okay. So that is second method, append, extend. Then we have an insert method also. Insert method. So if we want to insert a particular element, so if you want insert a particular element into that numbers, if you want to insert, if we want to insert a particular element. So if you want to change the third element, so if you want to change the fourth element, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, the 3 will represent the fourth element. So you want to change the third element to 50. So you can give like this. So this insert is another method. And now if you numbers, it will be 50 will be inserted at that position. So it will be inserted at that position and all the other elements after that 14 from 14 to 15 will be shifted one position. So this is what it happens. So if you want to insert a particular element in a particular position, it is possible using this insert. So we are inserting at the third position. That is, this is zeroth element, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. We are asked to we have to insert at this position. So we are inserting a 50 instead of 14, and all the 14 is shifted one to the right. So it is possible using insert method. Insert. Okay. So insert. So you can insert any position. Numbers dot insert of. You want to change ninth element. You want to change 9 comma and 2000. So simply you can insert. Now if you check, numbers will be like this. So we have inserted 1000 into that list. Okay. So you can use the insert method. Now we want to delete a particular element. Delete a particular element. We want to delete the last element. So you can simply use pop method. Numbers dot pop. So what it does is it deletes the last element and returns a deleted element. So last element is 145. When we do this numbers dot pop, the last element will be deleted and it will be returned. Now if you check numbers, that 145 won't be there. So only till 134 it will be there. So that is pop right. Okay, pop right. And if you want to delete a particular element also, it's possible. Numbers numbers of numbers dot pop of a particular element. If you want to delete the fifth element, so it is also possible. The fifth element is 15. 0, 1, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So fifth element is 15. It has been deleted. Now if we check the list, 15 won't be there. So with pop operator, you can delete a particular element. If you are not giving any value, then the last element will be popped out. Okay. Then we can check using in operator we have already seen. You can check a particular thing using 35 in numbers. If you want, you can check like this. It is false. So we have already seen this thing. Now, now if you want to search up for a particular element, if you want to search for a particular element, so target, I have set target equal to uh, 45. Okay, target equal to 45. Now, if I want to search whether that target is element is present or not, okay, you can simply use this code. If search in number, sorry, if target in numbers, then target. Okay. So what it does is, so we have another operator called index operator. Index operator is there. Index operator. So what we have done is we have to search whether target is present in 45. So if target, so we know that 35 in operator can be used to find out whether it is there. So you will check whether if target is there in numbers. So if it is there in numbers, what we have to do? We have to print that index value. So if you want to find out whether that particular element is present in the list, and also if you want to find the index value, then you can use the index keyword. So index function can be used. So index, what it does is index of that target will be returned. So what if we print this? So the 6 will be output. So 45 is present at 6th position. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it is present at 6th position. So we are simply searching for a particular element in the list, and if it is present, we have to return the index value. So it is possible using this index search. Okay. Then you can give some other value also. If you want to give, target equal to 14, and you can copy the same code. So it is present at 4th position. Okay. So that is possible in the case of numbers. Then we have to sort this thing. It is also possible in the case of there is a sort operation. So we can perform that sort also in the list. If you want to sort the list, it is possible using sort. So you will check the numbers first. So numbers is unsorted. Now if you want to sort it, numbers dot sort off. So you can simply sort. So the list will be sorted. So you'll get the list as sorted 14, 16, 45, like that. It will be sorted. So you can use this sort. Okay. Now we'll go back to the presentation. Okay. So we have already seen all this list text and pop. Then searching we have seen using in operator, and in method is used to find the position. We have already seen these things. Then sorting, you can use the sort method. Sort method can be used to sort the list. We have already seen this sort also. Then next is aliasing and side effects. Okay, aliasing. So we will see that example also. Let me take this. Okay. Okay, aliasing. So we will see aliasing. So now we have numbers. So these are the numbers. Now if we want, I will take some other thing. First equal to, I will take some other list. 23, 40, 34, 45. So I have a first, we have a list first equal to 23, comma 34, 45. Now I am using another list. I am using this assignment operator, and I am simply assigning like this. Second equal to first. So first value will be assigned to second. Now if you in the second list, it will be 23, 34, and 45. Okay. Now, so it has been assigned. The first list is 23, 34, 45. Now I have simply given second equal to first, and if I print it, we'll get the same list. Now I am simply changing first of one or first of second element. I am changing it to 100,001. Let it be 1001. So I have changed the first list value. So first of two, it is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. So I have changed this 45 to 105. Now I am simply printing the second list. So second list, the second list was 23, 40, 34, 45, but I have changed only the first list second element. But the second element has been also, the second list has also been changed. So what it means is first and second are pointing to the same object. So if you are assigning something like this, they will be pointing to the same object. So if I am assigning third equal to first, then if I print this, third will be like this. So if I am changing third's zeroth element to 1020, I have changed it. Now I am printing first, then it will be also changed. Then second will also be changed. It's because they all the three are pointing to the same object. So if you want, you can check the address of that. So if you check ID, I using ID function. If you check ID of first, you will get 84994. And if you check ID of second, you will get the same value. If you check ID of third, so it will also be same address. So this means all the three lists are now same. They are pointing to the same space. Okay, so this is known as aliasing. So these are aliases of the same list. First list, we are creating different names for the same list, aliases. Okay, so this is the aliases. So if we are creating a list like this, so first and second will be pointing to this space. Now I am creating another list. Okay, I'll show another example. Okay, I will show I am creating a fourth list. So let me first, so let me print this first. Now I am creating a fourth list. Fourth equal to, I am giving the same elements 120, comma 34, comma 1001. I am giving the same list. So fourth will be 120, 34, 1001. But these two lists are not same. Even though the elements are same, they are not same because if we check the ID of fourth, it will be different ID. So it will be a different address location. So it means if we are changing this fourth value, nothing will be happen in the other list. And changing the fourth value to 0, if you check fourth has been changed, but first and second won't be changed. So it means, so we have the elements are same. In both the lists, the elements are same. So both the elements are same. So if we check first and fourth, both the elements are same. But the IDs are different. So the IDs are different. So that is different. So even though the elements are same, the IDs will be different. Now you can compare. So, but if we compare the list, if you compare the list first, whether first equal to fourth, you will get a true. It means the elements are same. Doesn't mean both the lists are same. If we are comparing this true list first equal to fourth, it will return true because both the elements are same. 120, 34, 1001. But if you check the ID, it will be different. The addresses will be different. Okay. So this is known as aliasing. So we can create aliases of the same object, same list. Okay. Then we have one more small topic, nested list. So if we want to create matrices like this, it is also possible using list. Okay. If we want to create matrix, if I want to create a matrix like this, what you have to do is first row will be 1 comma 2 comma 3. Then second row will be 4 comma 5 comma 6. Then third will be 7 comma 8 comma 9. So this will be the matrix. So if we see the matrix, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like this, it will be stored. So if you want to access a particular element, it is possible. So matrix of 2 gives, so matrix of 2 gives 7, 8, 9. So if you want to access this 8 element, so what you have to do is matrix of 2 comma 1. So it will be the 8. So matrix of second element, second. So this is zeroth element, this is first element, this is second element. And inside the second element, this is 1. This is 0, 1, 2. So if you want to access a particular element, it is possible using this matrix. And if you want to change the value also, it is possible. Matrix of 2 of 2. So this is known as nested list. So if you want to change it into 100, it is possible. Now if you print the value, you can find that it has been changed to 100. So nested list, this is known as nested list. Okay, I've shown, forgotten to open this. I'll show this. So this is nested list. So this is matrix. So this is matrix here. I have created a matrix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is nested list. So we have one list here, another list here, and third list here. Then if you print this matrix, you will get all these values. Matrix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, if you want to access a particular element, matrix of 2. So you'll get 7, 8, 9 will be returned. So this is actually zeroth element, this is first element, and this is second element. So if you want to access this 8, then you have to put matrix 2, 1. Matrix 2, 1. So it means this is the second element, and inside that second element, you have to access the first element. So it will be 8. Now, if you want to change the last element, so you can simply change this matrix 2 to, you will get 100. So you can do this matrix like this. You can access these elements. Matrix of, if you print this matrix, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last element has been changed to another value. Okay. Now, now if you want to create another list, I will show another matrix, another nested operation. I am creating a list like this. List A, B, then we have a list here, C, C. Third element is another list, and inside that, the third element is another list. So there is a very deep nesting here. I'll show the figure, then you will understand. We'll check the slide. There is a figure in that slide. So this is the actual list. So the zeroth element is A, and the first element is B, and in the second element we have another list. In that element we have L of 2. It is CCDD, and inside that L of 2 2 we have another two elements, two lists, EEEFFF. So this is the whole list. So this list we have created using this function. Okay. So this is what we have done here. Okay, this is what we have done here. Now, if we want to access a particular element, so it is possible to access or print some particular element from that thing. So if you want to print second element, it will get like this, C C D D E E like this. Now, if we want to print some other element like 2 comma 2. So it will be EEFF. So EEFF will be printed. Okay. Now if we want to print the inside that thing, if we want to print the zeroth element, so it will be 2 comma zeroth element will be EEE. So EE will be returned. So in this way, we can create nesting. So this is the whole complete list we have created. This is zeroth element, this is first element, and this is the second element. So in this second element, we have 0, this is 1, and this is second element. In this second element, we have another list. This is 0, this is 1. So L of 2 to 0, it is EEE. So this is known as nested list. Okay. So these are the references. Hmm. Thank you.